Centurion tanks developed during World War II served the British Army well. The design proved to be effective, and the arrival of the legendary Royal Ordnance L7 cannon allowed the Cent to be in use a full 15 years after it was first accepted into service. Nevertheless, the Centurion was still undergoing trials when the far-sighted British started working on the successor vehicle. After quite a lot of time spent developing the A-45 Universal Tank, engineers finally came up with the Conqueror heavy tank, which, by the standards of the 1950s, was already somewhat dated. Obviously, that wasn't the only variant of the Universal Tank that the British had in the works. At some point, there was even a prototype equipped with a pike nose, like on the Soviet IS-3. The Korean War led the British to the conclusion that firepower and crew safety are more important than mobility, even though at first the team behind the project considered making an agile tank somewhat similar to what we'd see later with the Leopard 1. Eventually, a decision was made to sacrifice mobility in favor of better armor. In the end, the most promising design emerged as the FV-4201, a tank that was supposed to have both a powerful armament and great armor. Before accepting it into production, though, the British also decided to test a few features that would later be employed on the Chieftain, on the experimental FV-4202 tank, also known as the 40-ton Centurion. It was 10 tons lighter than regular production Centurions due to the fact that it featured a reclined driver's position. Moreover, the prototype had better armor and reduced height. The FV-4202 and the Centurion Action X prototypes were also used to test a mantlistless gun mounting, offering improved protection, a feature later employed on the FV-4201. Since this type of turret allegedly reminded one of the Windsor Castle towers, it was known as the Windsor Turret. The first prototype of the new tank, already incorporating design choices tested on the FV-4202, was ready for trials in September 1959. Thanks to the careful positioning of the driver and the use of an improved semi-automatic gearbox, the vehicle was pretty mobile, while its 120mm L11 gun proved to be a powerful up-to-date weapon with excellent muzzle velocity and accuracy. Even though originally the tank was supposed to be fitted with a laser rangefinder from the get-go, the early models had to make do with a coaxial ranging gun. On the other hand, the new vehicle had the best protection among Western MBTs of the time, and as a proper British tank, it also came equipped with tea-making appliances. I'm not joking. In the early 1960s, the FV-4201 was finally accepted for service as the Chieftain, with the Army starting to receive new tanks en masse in 1966. In the end, the Chieftain was used right up to 1995, naturally with lots of modifications and upgrades throughout the years. It's worth noting that the first production tank of the series, the Chieftain Mark I, was mainly used for training duties, and it was the Mark III, fitted with a modified Commander cupola and an improved transmission, that claimed the title of the first mass-produced Chieftain. In 1975, the Mark V rolled off the production line. Its main selling point was a new 760 horsepower engine, compared to the original 660 HP model. That was quite an improvement. But the most radical changes came with the Chieftain Mark X. The British equipped it with the Stillbrew Crew Protection Package, basically armor blocks consisting of 6 layers of steel plate spaced with thick rubber applied to the turret front and ring, with the aim of improving the vehicle's protection against heat projectiles. The ideas behind this package were later used to create a more advanced Chobham armor used on the modern Challenger MBT. By the way, British tankers weren't destined to fully use their chieftains in anger. It was in the Middle East where this MBT saw extensive use. For example, during the Iran-Iraq War, with Iranian Chieftain Mark IIIs and Mark Vs fighting against Iraqi T-62s and T-55s. By that time, the L-11 Callan was still a force to be reckoned with, but the tank's armor and mobility already left it much to be desired. By the 1980s, after 20 years of service, the Chieftain was a pretty outdated design, already on its way to be replaced by more advanced Challenger tanks, sharing a lot of its features. Now, the majestic FV-4201 can be found in museums, and, naturally, in War Thunder as well. Tell us, please, what is your favorite Chieftain? Tell us in the comments below.